Hello. To the person that's watching this, I first want to go ahead and say welcome. Today, I wanted to talk about something that was that I recently was inspired to talk about from a few good people of mine. What's your why, and why is your why? Now, let me explain. Throughout the past 7 months, I've been undertaking a journey that I am not finished with, a journey that I'm still just starting out at the beginning, but this journey is super important to me. This journey at first started off with just Forex trading, but then I realized that it was a lot more than that. It was a lot more than just learning a skill. It was about a change, a change that needed to be made, and a change that is still being undergone to this day and even into the future. What when this particular video, I guess, is time stamped, but something that was got put into the back of my head was, I've been going through this journey, and while I may not have had the results that I'm looking for just yet, a question appeared in the back of my mind that was put out into the forefront for me. And that aforementioned question is, why? Why am I choosing to go through this journey, through everything in my life that I've been through already? Why is it now that I wanted to go on this journey and continue to stay on this journey? And I really had thought about it. And I think the real reason behind this is a lot bigger than just me. In retrospect, when I think about it a lot more, there is a lot of cogs, a lot of influences that I have. Family, friends, and some of these people I may have not talked to in quite a while, and I understand that. And I understand that this journey that I'm going through is not the easiest for everybody. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear that is portrayed in what my journey is all about. This change. It's scary to change. It is super, super scary to change. Knowing what you had before and just essentially taking that and changing it into something that you may or may not know is going to change, right, is scary for the person that is just starting this journey. And it doesn't just have to be Forex trading. You can go through any particular journey right now, whether it's, you want to be a podcaster, you want to be a famous music artist, you want to be a teacher, you want to do something that essentially is causing you to think about life in a way that what it was beforehand in the past is not necessarily going to be your present, is not necessarily going to be your future. So why this change? Understanding that this could potentially be a situation where my past cannot dictate my present. My past cannot dictate my future. I will have to alter something in my life in order to get to where I want to be. How come I go through it? And I think the answer to that is, I understand that this right here, the cave that I'm going through in order to seek the treasure, is going to be so much powerful. It's going to change a lot of people's lives and not just mine. I always think too, and this was something that I recently thought about, was my grandparents, my abuelo, my abuela. You know, my abuelo and my abuela, they were some wonderful people. They worked their butts off in order to raise three important people in my life. And those three important people being my madre and my two tias. They did a lot for him. My abuela was probably one of the most patient people that you would have ever met in your life. And my abuela was probably one of the most strong-willed people you would have ever met in your life as well. And these two personalities together were able to create some of the most loving people that I know, who about, fast forward about maybe 20 or 30 years, were then able to take that love, that patience, those values, and were able to raise me, right? And one of the hardest things that any kid, depending if you were an early teenager or not, I don't care, who goes through it. I don't care, it doesn't matter, background or whatnot. But one of the most hardest things you'll ever have to go through is to deal with death. When I was 13, that's when I lost my grandma. And it's funny, when you go through that point where you lose that family member, you lose that connection. The funny thing about it is that it actually never really goes away. And what I mean by that is a lot of that strong spirit that my grandmother had, I know in my heart of hearts, she instilled that power into me. And so going through life and understanding that there is going to be challenges in this world. There's challenges that I'm currently going through right now that I don't really need to get into in this conversation. However, I know that strong spirit is going to allow me to overcome those challenges. The same thing with my grandfather. He passed away a couple of years ago. Again, just a very patient, tolerant man. Always wanted to make sure that everybody was all right. And so when he left, I didn't recognize it at the time, but I realized that in terms of my family dichotomy, I am the man of my own house. And so being the man of my own house, there's a lot of responsibility and there's a lot of power that comes with it. And so over these 7 months, and of course, it doesn't really come to you right away. It really doesn't. It's only through self-reflection and just unplugging yourself from the world that I'm starting to see that a change like this, it's hard. Change is hard. Failure is hard. There's a lot of things out there that are hard. There's a lot of things out there that can scare you. Even just talking to this camera right now is probably one of the most scariest things I have ever done, because I am not just talking about some rah, motivation. I am coming to you in one of my most vulnerable states, and really just talking to the camera, and I feel like it's an extension. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and right now I see a lot of wear and tear. But this wear and tear is worth it because I know that I'm going to get to where I want to be in life. Now, self-motivation, it can't be just about the self when it comes to the why. Because with self, you're only thinking about yourself, and there's just more to it. There's just more to life than just yourself. There's the relationships that you build. There's the relationships that you forge, you develop. And so with those relationships, again, there comes responsibility. My madre and my two tias raised me at a very young age, at a very, very young age. And my madre in particular, she worked her butt off in order to raise two children, my brother and myself. And so being able to be at the point where that effort, that work, and that hustle, that I want to see it ultimately pay off. I want to be able to be at the point where I can be able to do what I need to do to make sure she doesn't need to work no more. I could be at the point where my brother is taken care of. I've got a lot of cousins. I got a lot of cousins out there too that I want to make sure are taken care of too. And it is going to happen. It's most definitely going to happen. But it's more to it than just family. I've got a lot of friends out there, and I know some of those friends probably have not heard from me in quite a while. But I do think about them constantly. And I definitely have their spirit, their soul within me. And I understand that in order for me to be able to be that person for them, that friend, I had to do this first. And it's not easy. That feeling of going through this journey, when you first start out, again, you really don't think about what it's going to take in order to do the things that you need to do in order to be successful. And it's through any walk of life, not just my journey, but just about anything. If you want to get to where you want to be, the first thing about it is you have to understand why you're doing this. You have to understand why these trials, these tribulations, even if you wake up one day and feel outwardly depressed or just don't have the energy or the momentum to get up, you have to find your why. That why is like a lion in your heart roaring out. It's going to protect your drive. It's going to protect the things that make you want to go through this change. It's funny. A lot of people say that the bottom is too crowded. A lot of people do, and that is true. And there is a mountaintop that we can climb. But the things that are going to be stopping us the most are going to be destroyed. Your blockages, your roadblocks, any obstacle that stands in your way, you are going to be able to get through those obstacles by just knowing what your why is. And my why is I'm freaking tired of everybody in my life not getting to their potential. My why is that I'm freaking tired of seeing only a small amount succeed and not everyone getting that same playing card, not everyone getting that same hand. So I need, and listen, my only intention right here is to essentially tell you that you can do it. You will do it. Don't let the past stop you, because the past is not your present, and the past is certainly not your future. There is something in you that is going to allow you. You have a drive that's going to make things happen. Whether that comes from the fire in your spirit, whether that comes from wanting that better life, whether that comes from wanting to just be there's so many things, a source of comfort for people. You have an innate talent for something. You have an innate gift. The question is, with that innate gift, with that innate talent, will you be able to see it? Actually, no, that's not even true. You will be able to see that talent. It's a matter of that drive, that why. Is it going to allow yourself to push through even the toughest of obstacles, even the toughest of roadblocks? Now, I may not be able to impact everybody on this world, and that's not my mission, that's not my intention. But if I can at least influence somebody out there in this world, because I know the world, and I know that state where some of y'all might not be at your best. You might not be able to shine your brightest light. I want to be able to at least tell you it's okay to shine your light. I want to be able to say, you'll be able to crush it. You'll be able to develop whatever it is you want to develop. You're going to be able to build your empire. It's going to happen. But you cannot let negativity, you cannot let fear, you can't let the unknown stop you. Because that fear, that negativity, it could really wear you down. So you have to have it within yourself. You have to have the change within you in order to get moving forward. And so, in closing, my question to you, no matter it is what you do, no matter your journey, no matter where your true north, no matter where your calling, no matter where your passion may be, my question to you is, what's your why? What's the thing that's keeping you moving forward? Why is your why your why? Because if you're able to answer those questions, and if you're able to do that with 100% confidence, I guarantee you there is no mountain, there is no tidal wave, there is no windstorm, and there is no fire that is going to block you. There is no negative energy that is going to block you from ultimately becoming the person that not only you were destined to be, forget about destiny. It's the person that you want to be. Go be that person, because you got it. You will get there, and you will succeed 110%.